We're here at Nottingham Strong, we're ready to train, but also ready to film another video. 2 weeks today I fly to Dubai, so we're going to get into it, we're not going to mess around. I've got updates on the prep, where everything's been at, and also a lot of tips along the way from you guys that are on prep, but also my plans for all the shows coming up. We've got 4 shows in 4 weeks, 6 shows in 10 weeks. We're going to get into it, I'm going to talk as I go. Training back today, let's get into it. As of today, we are 2 weeks away from flying to Dubai. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen since the last video, I've actually been on stage and done a show. I've got 6 massive WNBF Pro shows coming up. We spoke about warm-up shows before. We can call it that if you want, but I did the Two Bros Natural show. I actually got banned from filming. We weren't allowed to film at that show, unfortunately. So wasn't able to get a video for the YouTube. But what that show's done has set me up perfectly going into this one. It actually made my prep a bit more exciting for a couple of weeks as well. I love to compete, I love to get on stage, I love the whole peak week process and all that kind of stuff. So I've got to run through all of that. But most importantly, nothing sets you up better for getting on stage in front of a crowd of people and a judging panel than going and doing it. So I put myself up there, not 100% at that point, because again, I've got to manage things very closely with the amount of shows I'm doing, but got up there feeling very confident. And that was one thing that got knocked last year a little bit. Going into shows, I could see and feel that I wasn't as confident as usual. But this year, I feel like going into that show, that's definitely set me up nicely, because I'm so excited to get on stage now in Dubai for the first pro show this season. So yeah, I'm feeling good in terms of the excitement for the show, and that has come from getting myself on stage and the love for competing. So yeah, we're going to take that now over the next couple of weeks and try and carry that confidence and that stage presence that I brought to that show into the shows coming up. So what I've had to do since that show is bring things back down again, burn off that carb up and dig deep for more condition. So at this point, we're really into the deep part of prep now, where we're digging deep, trying to maintain strength in the gym. Food's a bit lower, cardio's a little bit higher, steps are high, all the rest. It's just a case of getting it all done. But now I feel, like I say, in a great place going into the Dubai show. I'm ready to push for these next couple of weeks. At this point, this prep has probably been my most enjoyable, and a lot of that has come down to where my head's been at. And I think I learned a lot last year from not being as successful in placings as I'd like to have been. The 3 years previous, I won everything I really set out to win. So I'd like to think last year didn't give me what I want, but it gave me what I needed. Because this year I've been in a completely different place mentally as a result. Because what I came to learn is, no matter the outcome of a show, you can tie your success to whatever you want to. So now, especially in bodybuilding, it's so person specific in terms of your genetics, how your body is structured and everything. But the pursuit of bodybuilding is self-improvement. So if you're improving year to year, doing everything you're in control of, no matter the outcome on stage, you can walk away proud of yourself and be happy in that way. So now going into this year, I've been much more aware of that. So I'm not going into these shows worrying too much about my placing as such, but making sure that I'm better. And also, let me take like a basketball player or a football player, for example. Say they're trying to win a tournament, win a league. If all they're thinking about is winning that league, that's going to cause them to get anxious, like what if it doesn't happen? But now, if that individual player is focusing on their task in the team and what they need to do and visualizing being confident, performing, I don't know, the shooting, the passing, whatever it is, and also being happy in them moments, perfecting them skills, that's going to stand them in better stead long term to achieve anything that they want to achieve as an outcome. So I went into that last show just wanting to feel confident on stage, wanting to make sure I had a good carb up, I had a good pump up backstage and everything, and was confident in how I looked. And I definitely brought that. And I don't really tie too much attachment at that point to the result because I've executed everything that I need to execute. I go into these shows now feeling very confident, and like I say, that's not me being confident of a result, it's me being confident that I'm going to be bringing my best ever physique to the stage, and I'm also going to enjoy it, and I'm also going to feel good in them moments before I get on stage and when I get on stage as a result of the hard work that I've put in. The more I think about those thoughts of pumping up backstage, of posing on stage, looking confident, smiling, looking out into the judges, looking out to the crowd, doing something I love, the more I get excited for it. So I've spent a lot of this prep, even at the days where I'm feeling a bit like a zombie and I'm feeling really tired, I'm just so excited for everything that's to come, and I'm excited to bring the videos on here as well. As I've spoke about previously, we have 4 shows in 4 weeks coming up, 6 shows over 10 weeks in 6 different countries. A lot of people have said to me how crazy I am for doing it, but what I said I wanted to do this year is really challenge myself in a different way than I have previously. So that's exactly what I'm aiming to do. And like I've said before, enjoy it all along the way. But what I want to share in this video is basically my plan for each show. If you're going to do something crazy, you need to have a plan. I'm OCD when it comes to planning, and that's partly why I'm confident that I can pull this off and do it all, but it has took a lot of planning in terms of travel, flights, training, peaking, all the rest. So what I'm going to do is go through show by show and just talk about the differences and what I'll be doing going into each one. As I've mentioned, today to the day, 2 weeks away from flying to Dubai. By the time we get this video up, I'm guessing I'll be close to heading there or heading there. And the goal is to vlog the trips as I go, so I will be bringing that to the channel. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe now so you can see the madness kicking off. So basically for that first show, I'm going to be able to run my peak as usual, which is generally 4 days lower food, and then I start carving up 3 days out. I fly 4 days out, which is what I like to do, which I've done for Worlds previously, so that's a low day. And then the first day I'll wake up in another country, America previously, Dubai for this one, is when I'll start the carb up quite heavy. At 3 days out, then 2 days out, same again. And then the last day before the show, I'll generally drop the food a little bit, as I'm happy at that point how full I am going into the show. To be honest, my peak weeks are nothing crazy. It is mainly just the carb up process. I'm not one that believes in, I don't know, cutting water and all this kind of stuff, which I've found personally makes me look worse because you're taking water out of the muscle and everything. If you want me to share the peak, just comment on the video and I'll share the full peak as well. But yeah, basically that first one is going to be, I think, a little bit easier to navigate rather than the ones that come straight after the show. So first show, 3 days before, I'll start to carb up and run probably around the same amount of carbs as I did for the previous show. What you do need to remember as a competitor, just because something was spot on for one show, it's not always going to be the same for the next, because your body is going to change, maybe how much food it's burning and all that kind of stuff. So you are going to have to pay attention to things as you go as well. But to have that plan set that you can manipulate a little bit is the best way. So first show, like I say, is going to be quite straightforward. It's then going to be after that that things get a bit more complicated and a bit more where I'm going to have to adapt as I go. Right, so after the first show, that's when the challenges begin. So with the 4 shows in 4 weeks, what I felt the need to do is just point out which shows I'm prioritizing. That's not to say if I win one or do well in one, it'll mean more to me than the other. It literally won't. But I've picked the shows that I'm prioritizing just so I know from a mental standpoint of how things are going between shows. I want to absolutely nail it for those shows. So first one being Dubai, I want to absolutely nail it there. The week after that, I've got France, but then the week after that is the UK Pro show. Now, with that being the stage that I won 2 of my British titles on, and it being the first ever UK Pro show, I want to make that show a priority and absolutely nail it for that one. Then I have Spain the weekend after, and then I have a few weeks until I go to Germany. So the main priority, Dubai and the UK Pro show. To me, those 2 shows are massive. So I need to keep that in mind as well with the plan that I put in between shows. Once I come off stage in Dubai, I'm only 6 days out from the show in France. So the show in Dubai is on Sunday the 22nd. The France show is on Saturday the 28th, I believe it is. So coming off stage there, I haven't got a full week to run what would be my usual peak. So once I come off stage there, this is where the challenge is. The challenge is when you're carbing up, you need to be in a calorie surplus for your body to store the glycogen. But also, to stay in shape, I need to get back down into a deficit after the show and burn that food off. Then I've only got 6 days. Usually, like I said, I have 4 days low and then 3 days carbing up. For the France show, 6 days between. So my plan straight after that show is to get back down to low food, which is what I had to do after the last show as well to keep bringing more condition. Those days are tough, I'm not gonna lie to you, because like I say, the food is low, the output is high, but that's the challenge I'm signing up for. So what I'll have is a few days there to burn off as much as possible, and then we'll see where I'm at condition and fullness wise, and I'll only carb up for 2 days. So that will be the Thursday, which is the day that I actually travel to Paris to head to the show. And then also Friday, the day before the show. Generally, usually, I would back off the carbs the day before the show. I'm not gonna have time to do that here. So it might be a heavy carb load on the Thursday and then pull back maybe a little bit on the Friday, but I'm thinking I'll probably still need to keep the carbs quite high, especially in the morning. So I'm giving a lot of time for the carbs to digest, ready for the next evening when I'm on stage in France. So as you can see, that peak week is going to look a lot different in terms of the setup of days than it will be for Dubai. As you can tell, I've thought about this a lot. Also, I don't usually train the day before a show. I usually rest. I'm going to probably train the day before the France show because training is definitely going to be important in all of this as well. I have planned also what body parts I'll train on which days I'll be resting with travel and all the rest of it. But again, that will be on all of the vlogs that I post for each show. So there'll be one for Dubai, there'll be one for France, and I'll share all in more detail then, but it's all been planned. So that brings me to France on Saturday the 28th. Again, another one that I'm excited for. And this is where I haven't even got time to be thinking about results. I've been asked about other competitors. I ain't got time. I'm competing against so many different people. I ain't got time to be focused on who I'm competing against, what position I'm coming. It's all about executing the plan and being at my best. After the France show on the Saturday, I don't fly back until the Sunday night. So it's worth mentioning that with the Dubai show, I also fly back the following day in the afternoon. So fly back Monday from Dubai, head to France on the Thursday, show Saturday, Sunday night flight, back from France. So I believe, off the top of my head, I'll be doing a leg day Sunday morning in France, ready to prepare for the UK show, which I now have more days to prepare for because it's on the Sunday. So I go Saturday to Sunday after that. So rather than it be 6 days out, it goes to 8 days out is the France show from the UK show. So it gives me more time. And like I say, making that my priority, that show alongside the Dubai one, I can run my usual peak with the days that I've got available. So it's again about burning off the food from the carb up, which won't be as big for France, I'd imagine, with the 2 days, and then get right back down to baseline, ready to carb up well, be at my best for the UK Pro show. Moving on to the Spain show. So again, this one's different. So what it is Dubai, like I say, the show is 6 days before the France show, and the France show is 8 days before the UK show. But the UK show is 7 days before the France show. So each time, I've got a different amount of days to play with. So with this one, it's going to be, again, seeing how I look, but it'll be definitely 3 days low, then maybe start carbing up 3 days out. Or, if needed, I'll have a 4th low day and put the carb up into the 2 days before. So there's a little bit of variation there. With Spain, I travel on the Thursday, compete on the Sunday. Then because I've got 3 weeks to play with, I'm not gonna head back straight after the show. I'm actually gonna have at least one day to enjoy myself in Spain the day after the show before coming back, and then the preparation for Germany a few weeks later begins, and then a few weeks after that we've got the Worlds, and that'll be our 6 shows in 10 weeks. After Spain, there's that 3-week break until the next show, so I will actually be able to push for maybe more condition there if it was needed off the back of those 4 shows, or I can feed up a little bit. I've got them few weeks to play with where I can manipulate things as well, and then same again for the 3 weeks after that going into the Worlds. It is going to be a case of analysing things each show as well. And this is something I did in my last show and I've started doing. I've got like a list of questions that I go through, and this is something I will do with my coaching clients that compete next year. And basically just running through the questions and, like I say, just answering them. Like, was I feeling confident on stage? Was I happy with the peak? What could I do better? What did I do better as the show went on? And that's something, like I say, that I did in the show a couple of weeks ago. I was very happy with a lot of things. There was things that I could have done better. And we just analyse and take that into each show as we go. And like I say, I'll be sharing all of that as we go along. Food is low at the moment, energy is low. Getting a little bit lightheaded between sets. A little bit flat at the moment, definitely not looking how I look when I'm fully carved up for the shows. But it's all part of it. It's all fun and games. There we go, the plan is all set, ready for the weeks to come. I'm sure everything won't go to plan. You've got to be ready to adapt as needed, but I'm determined. It's not about just what I do, it's how I do it. And I keep telling myself we're doing it with a smile on our face this year. In terms of the show placings, like I say, that will be what it will be, but I want to bring my best, and I'm going to do everything to do that. And also, it's sometimes about just springing back to why you started bodybuilding in the first place. I see a lot of competitors putting pressure on themselves. I've done the same before, especially when I wanted to turn pro. I had to win, I had to turn pro. Now I'm there, I'm living a dream, I want to enjoy it. And also, I was saying to Peter off camera as well, we were talking about self-confidence a little bit, and we all doubt ourselves at times. But essentially, I got into this to be more confident. If I can look at myself on stage and be confident with what I bring, you got to remember, that's as big a win as anything in this game. So guys, if you are watching this video, not everyone is going to win their bodybuilding show, but everyone can get better that is on that stage from time to time. So guys, like I say, let's normalize that. Let's normalize getting better, all pushing each other, all being in this together and helping each other along the way. That's my plan set. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to share it with you as I go. And like I say, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Plenty more of these videos to come. Next time we'll be a little bit more outside of the gym as we travel and obviously get on stage as well. I actually enjoyed that session. Sessions are definitely tougher at this point, but my strength's holding. And yeah, keep following along, guys. Thank you for watching.